you for joining me while I'm awkwardly dancing and grooving to the wonderful Altenew music. It catches me. It's only like a minute long, so sometimes you guys catch me doing some awkward dance moves, but it's a groovy tune that Altenew has put on there, so I can't help myself. All right. Today we are going to do some crafting, of course. And I thought it would be fun to combine some old and new. And we're going to bring out some of the new Amy Tan inks, combine an older one, a couple older, and play with the craft of flower garden rose. You know, you just see a set and you're like, okay, have to make something with this. So, and it actually was inspired by Tracy because I was looking at leaves and this popped up and I was like, oh, I haven't played with this in forever. So Tracy, you're the one that put this in my brain. So there we go. So let's switch down because again, we can't make this today. So we might as well make something crafty and fun, right, my friends? And make sure, say hello to the fabulous hand behind the badge. All right, so I have my blending tools pulled out for most of my colors. I don't have one for Olaf yet. And now all I can think of is Olaf. Whenever I say Olaf, I can only think of Olaf. So I'm seeing snowmen in the middle of July. That's the only kind of snowman you want to see, right? Is Olaf. So we have, of course, I have my garden rose and it's on my little magnet sheets, which is how I store mine. And then I have my layering guide. Of course, my new BFF masonry wall. Don't worry, organic linen is still my BFF and still loved very much. But this one was on my desk. Don't tell anybody, you guys. Like, it was on my desk. So that's what happened. So we're going to combine, and I don't know if this is going to work yet. I don't see why it wouldn't. Oh, Angel. Oh, Angel, hello. Sorry about that. Hello, Angel. Very excited you are here with us today. So we have Let Us Celebrate and Oh Love. I'm going to combine those. We'll see how it goes. Toasted mauve for my flower centers, which I did not put that back on. And then cherry sweet, tangerine dream, and lemonade stand for my roses. I thought that would be fun. And of course, some white cardstock. So let's get going because as always, I just want to create with you guys for the entire day. And I just run out of time. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to get our pieces cut out. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I get my paper, I buy it from an online retailer that's rather large. And when they ship it, it gets a little crinkly. So I usually do this. I know we got the angel wings today. So hopefully Han is okay, but we're very excited to have Angel join us as always. I wish we could have Angel and Han all the time together because we always have so much fun when it's either Angel or Han. So can you imagine the party that would occur if we had Angel and Han together one day? Can you imagine the fun? I don't even know if there's a word for the fun if we had Angel and Han behind the badge at one time. Okay. So we're going to put our pieces, and it doesn't matter where they go. That's the great thing. If you get some crinkly paper too, think of this. Don't throw it out. I've trimmed it down, so I've got 4 nice card fronts, okay? And so I'm good to go. You know, it's all right. It's all good. Do I wish it wasn't crinkly? Absolutely. But that's okay. But again, remember, it doesn't matter where our pieces go because we're ink blending. It doesn't matter. We can make it work. And then if you have some sections, like I have some rather large sections here that I could probably lay a die or two in there and make it work. So that way, the crinkle, I don't lose all the crinkle. You know what I mean? Like I can see the crinkle line there. So I can kind of lay things in between the crinkle. All right. And then other than that, we're just going to kind of lay things in. I was hoping to fit everything on here, but I think I'm going to miss it by just a scotch. But we'll see. We can always wiggle. can always do the wiggle jiggle here. All right, wiggle the dies. All right, I think, yeah. I don't want to mess anything up. So these other two, and we do have another piece of paper that has a bend in it. So I think we're just going to run this through. We're going to call that nice and checker block full. So let's get the big fella. You have not missed too much there, Sherry. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited you're here. We just started about 7 minutes ago, and I've been chatting away. So you haven't missed much, just me chatting. And the good news is these are recorded. So if you ever have to miss one, then these are recorded. So that's the great thing. All right, there. So we got our first round. And then we'll shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your dies. Okay, there we go. So we got our dies here. And we're just going to casually dump them off. Casually, just, dump them off. Okay, now I have blue footprints on my paper, but that's okay again. It's all right. We're just going to cut out these 2 additional leaves. And normally I would cut extra leaves because love extra leaves in an arrangement, but this is going with the die set. So I'm not going to cut any extras right now. We always can. And yeah, if you put it over the crinkle, you could get more texture. That is true. We have Angel behind the badge today. We thought it was hand, but it's Angel. Angel with the save. Those angel wings. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. So we got these. So I've got everything mixed, matched, mingled over here. So pop those to the side. Move this out of the way for the moment because we will need it again when we run it through our die cutting machine. I have some instructions here for a class I taught. So I'm just going to start putting my pieces on here. So I got my leaves over there. Okay. Now, don't forget, on the back of all of your, anything that has layering, you get a guide. So whether it's on the back or it's on the inside, if it's like the Build-A-Garden or the Dynamic Duo or some of those, it's on the inside. But for the Craft-A-Flower, usually on the back for you. We also have some videos. So if you are looking at it and you're like, oh, goodness, I think I know, but I'm not quite sure. So there are videos with some tips and tricks sometimes if they're needed. Some of these go together. I can't say like with your eyes closed because you got to see what piece it is, but they're pretty easy. They basically put themselves together. And I really feel like this die set is really kind of one of those that for me goes together pretty easily. And we all have different ones that go together super duper easy and ones that kind of, it takes a second. You have to concentrate. You have to have had your cup of coffee that morning or your soda pop or whatever way you wake up. All right. And this is a piece of the flower. So we're going to put that there. And I just have this off to the side. I'm just pulling things back on. This is our center here. Okay, that's where we needed that brown. That's why I pulled in that toasted mauve, which is such a pretty color. And quite honestly, he just got pulled into the game today because he was on the rack near the colors. And that's how Olaf got pulled in too. Olaf was hanging with the new Amy Tan inks and got pulled up for crafty duty here. All right. Okay, let's see here. So we've got our 1 and our 3 and our 2 of our keyhole. Okay, just making sure we have all of our bits and bobs. Now that's another thing. Even if you look at these pieces and you're like, this is my favorite flower, it is so simple to put together, I highly, highly recommend putting them in order of the pieces where they go. So you make sure everybody's there, everybody's at the party. And then if you're ink blending the colors that you want on that particular ones, So if you're doing 2 different colors or anything, I think it's just a good habit to get into. So we have that one. We have this little feller. It's going to go right up there. And then we have the chili pepper. I always call this guy the chili pepper because couldn't that be a cute little chili pepper? You could make a little shaker card with that. All right. So too many ideas are already starting. And then we got this piece. So our flowers are laid out. Our leaves are off to the side because those, we do layer them together, but they're not technically layering. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with my arrow flower. So I'll put my little keyhole pieces to the side. If I can pick them up, we'll be doing good. There we go. Okay, we'll put those right off to the side. And we'll get started. I'm going to start with my first piece. Now, you can also put, double-sided adhesive on the back of this. You could put the ultra sticky tape. I'm just going to use the glue tape pen. Now, I will tell you, if your ink is not dry, depending on how much ink you blend on, it may be the glue tape pen, you may have to wait for the ink to dry a little bit, just to let you know. All right, so we are going to start. I think we're going to start with the cherry sweet. Let's go. Why not? We'll blend out from the cherry sweet to the orange to the yellow. Okay, so I'm just going to dab off, and then I'm going to just start blending. Okay. And with this, where I'm using 3 different colors, you could also, do like the red and orange on one, and then come in with the orange and yellow on another. That's also an option you could do. Woo, there we go. This orange, the Tangerine Dream, is ready to go. It's like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to blend. It was jumping out of the blending tool container. All right. Now, I never look. I will be honest with you. I never look at what's going to get covered up when I'm layering them together, when I'm doing my blending. I just blend my little heart out. I just have some fun with the ink blending because, as you may notice, I love to do ink blending. Ink blending is kind of my jam. It's my happy place. So I do it a lot, and I know in our Crafty Adventures we kind of do a lot of ink blending, but that's the great thing about having a lot of different folks that come on for the lives is that you get different techniques and different looks at things. So here we have our first flower. And let's see if this helps. It helps a little bit. All right, so we have our first flower. So we've gone from red to orange to yellow. You also, if you wanted, you could do orange to red if you wanted to. I mean, yellow to red. So if you wanted to, do I know how it's going to look? Not a clue. But we're going to do it. We're going for it. Why not? It's crafting. It's the happy place. So why not try it? Okay. And you can always go back and forth and build your color more if you want to. Like I covered up some of my yellow. I can put a little bit more yellow in there if we wanted to. I'll come down so you guys can see better. And then finally this time we're going to end with the cherry sweet. We started with cherry sweet last time, and this time we'll have it be on our petals. So see, you can kind of change it up. That's the wonderful thing, and that's one of the things that I love most about crafting is that we create the beautiful worlds that we want to be surrounded by. And Altenew gives us so many wonderful images to create our own beautiful crafty world with. So see, this is what I was mentioning. Oh, wrong one. This is what I was mentioning with, that's why you put your covers back on. What I was mentioning with you can really build up the color. So you get a good go the first time, but if you keep coming back and adding in more of that color, you'll deepen it and you'll get a different look. So this one, I really packed the color in. And this one, I only did one. So you can really see the difference in the color there. You can see this one's a lot lighter. This one's a lot darker. Oh, no. I'm glad you were able to catch us though. I don't run that fast. That's the good thing. All right, so this one I'm going to go back. We'll keep alternating. Why not? Let's do it. So this one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use red for our center. You may say, where is your center on this one? I'm making it up. I'm making it up as I go along. So I'm just calling that my center. And you know what? If you only have room for 2 colors, that's okay too. So let's just do red and orange on this one. Maybe you have a few pieces. Make sure you don't put your lids down on your work surface. I know what I speak of. Sometimes they'll leave like little lines because we get all that gorgeous ink up in there. So make sure we don't put those down on your work surface, because when you least expect it, it's going to sneak up on you. I promise. All right, so here we go. So red and the orange. And if you wanted to, because looking at it firsthand, it looks kind of similar. You know, it's kind of close, so I can come back in and I can really build up that red so that I have that definitive area. See, by going back and adding in some of that red, I have that real definitive red there. All right. And don't forget, the names of the inks are on the bottom as well as the top now. Well, they always, you know, they have been on the older guys too. But yeah, just in case you swap those lids around, you're all set. So this little piece, where did my little piece go? This one. Yes, we're doing the arrow flower. Oh my goodness, I put those pieces. I kept my chili pepper. I just love my chili pepper so much, I guess. So this one, and then this kind of looks like Massachusetts a little bit to me, but so I'm going to look at my guide. This is where I like to look at the guide. So it's a little darker on the edge, it is lighter coming in. And this one as well, where the finger's kind of pointing out this way, little darker, little lighter as it comes in. So, you know, if you want to follow along with that, great. If you don't, that's okay too. So let's on this one, let's just do, we'll do a yellow and we'll do some of the orange on this one. And then if you feel like you lost that nice blended area, you can come back in and just blend it out a little bit more. And remember, this is dye ink, so this is going to literally dye your paper. So it doesn't happen instantaneously. So you want to remember that, okay? So it does take some time for the ink to settle. You get an idea of what it's going to be, but as it dries in, it just gets prettier and prettier and prettier. All right, so we start with the yellow. Now I'm going to come in, and I'm not worried if I do too much orange over here onto the kind of right-hand side. I'm not really worried about it because I can go over it with the red, but I am trying to be more conscious of it on my yellow side because I don't want to get anything on that yellow side, okay? With the yellow and the, looks a little candy cornish here. We're talking snowmen and candy corn in the middle of July. Holy Toledo. All right, so there. So now if I try to go put this on, you know, the glue tape, because the ink is wet, it's wet. It's like trying to put a watercolor piece on. So I'm going to want to let this dry for a minute. So we're going to continue our ink blending. We'll move over, but let's give you a sneak peek. We like sneak peeks, right? At Altenew, we like sneak peeks. I think everybody at Altenew likes a sneak peek. All right, so we'll put piece 1 down. And piece 1 is the lightest because I did not go back in and add anything. And then we're just going to go ahead and just put our piece 2. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our piece 3 on there. And then this piece goes in up here, right? Yes, right there. So look at that, because of the way we did that. Look how pretty that came out. That came out so, so pretty. All right, and then we have our piece down here. So that came out very pretty, the way that we ink blended it back and forth. All right. I know my sneak peek isn't anything exciting. It's just my flower. I wish I had an exciting sneak peek for you, but hopefully seeing the flower is exciting as well. Hopefully, hopefully. All right, so same thing. Same thing here. We're going to come in with, oh, I picked up the red first, so we'll do the reds. Okay. Blend. And you could even go so far as to blend different petals, different colors. So you could do one red, orange, yellow. You could do one orange, yellow, red. You could do the other one yellow, orange, red. So, feel free, mix it up. Use the only limit you basically have is a time, which is the worst limit of all because, we have so many crafty ideas that are so wonderful and would be so beautiful. We just need the time to put them all together. But the only limit is our time and our creativity, is saying, hey, let me try that. And you know what? If it comes out and I'm not a huge fan of it, that's okay. I've made some projects and I made one today actually. And I thought it would look nice. And I got to the end of it. And I'm like, yep, nope. In the bin you go, my dear friend. I love you, but no, just not working for me. And that's okay. That's okay. If you can save it by doing some die cuts out of it, that's great. But if not, that's okay too. So we have that there. That's our first one. Yes, this is Garden Rose. This is the Craft a Flower Garden Rose. So that's what we're kind of creating here, except ours is going to be on fire. It's going to be red and orange and yellow because I wanted to play with all these pretty colors. I couldn't pick, so I picked a bunch of them. So we're going wild. All right, so this one, I think this one I will calm down a little bit. Just a little, not much. Don't panic. I can hear people at home going, no, don't calm down. I'm going to calm down just a scotch, and I'm going to use my red, some on my finger, my red, orange, and yellow for my whole flower, and I'm just going to kind of follow that process through. But I think it's fun when you get these. I think it's fun to build your color. We've talked about this before, and I think most recently when I did the hanging flowers with you, is really the more color you add, the more detail and depth and dimension you can get out of these kind of singular pieces that were given to build our flowers. So look at each piece as its own entity. So kind of you can think about the project as a whole or how it's going to come together as a whole. But I think it's also good to put stock and really give each piece kind of its own identity all by itself so that, you really focus on each piece as you're going through. And that's going to give you an even prettier end product as you go. So that's why I like to use, 3, 4 colors on each of my pieces, whether I'm using artist markers or inks. But if you're just starting and you enjoy using 1 or 2, do that as well. Do whatever works in your space. But if you're looking to try something new, I highly recommend grab a few colors. And even if you're like, I don't know if these go together, they might. So make sure you try it. Yes, and I do like using colored cardstock. I like using it, but I like when you can add, like where we have those gradient cardstock sets. Those are fabulous because not only do you have the color, so let's say seashore, because I know we have a lot of teal fans out there in the audience, and my angel is included. I know she likes the teal as well. You know, so you can go in and you can add, you know, some Volcano Lake on the Volcano Lake cardstock and really build up that definition and that really pretty, that really kind of looks like a chili pepper even more now with the red on there. Oh goodness. I guess for Cinco de Mayo, if I ever need a chili pepper, I know where to go. All right. And then in here, I'm going to go on this one. Now this piece on here, it's showing like dark right in the center. So I'm not going to start on either end. I'm going to start right in the center. And that's great. I think you don't have to copy the layering guide. Absolutely do not have to copy it. But it's nice sometimes because they've taken out the thinking of where you may need to add shading. So if you don't want to think about where you're going to add shading, I think those layering guides are absolutely fabulous. If you want to add your own shading and build your own and do it all by yourself, that's cool too. But I love that we have the option. I'm a huge fan of options. Love the options. That almost looks like a seahorse. Okay, so as we name our pieces. All right, so now we're going to close these because we are all done with those ones for the moment. Oh, favorite Craft-A-Flower. You know, I have to say the open peony. I think the open peony, I think that's my fave. I also love the Craft-A-Flower Sulfur Cosmos. That's my other favorite, but I think open peony takes it. It's every time I see it, it's so pretty and it's so delicate and just gorgeous. Gorgeous, darling. They're all gorgeous, but we have ones that we look at and we're like, oh yeah. The zinnia though, that spoke to me. That spoke to me as well. That was a very pretty one too. They keep coming out with ones and it's like, oh, beautiful. All right, so we're being boring here. Just one color, just the toasted mauve. And so I don't have toasted mauve fingers all night. I'm going to just go ahead and use my fabulous Altenew tweezers. Now, if you want to as well, now this is a trick for us oldies but goodies. If you want to as well, you can take your tools and go, remember how we used to do this with everything? Everything. We used to add like depth and dimension by adding that ink on the side. So you can go ahead and do that here. So it's subtle because I'm only using one color, but you know, you can also, as it goes, as it dries, you can also add that. But don't forget, you can use your blending tools like this as well to add stuff onto the colors. Oh, thank you, Angel, for adding that in. Yes, and I think it's actually in stock. It's one of those, the open peony. It seems like the second it comes back into stock, it goes so quickly because it's a very popular one. It's very, very beautiful. They all are beautiful, though. I mean, I look at them and I'm like, whew, I wish my brain thought that way. I wish my brain could draw that or put that together. And look at the fun little arrow design we have in our, our paper. All right, so we're going to start with Let Us Celebrate. Okay, and I'm moving away from the red and orange thing I got going on here. And I'm going to use the Olove. So down here, it shows all of this is green, all the stems. I'm going to use the Olove on there and on some of the leaves. So we're going to get these all colored with our Let Us Celebrate. I almost pulled out the tickled pink today, but I figured I would be pink for weeks to come. So meet you guys in Syracuse with bright pink. You'll see me as your planes or cars pull into Syracuse. You would have seen me with my pink on there because that is a beautiful. I love that pink. Oh, it is stunning, just stunning. And my uncle actually has okay, let me see if I can get this right. I think it's a 30, it's either a 32, a 34, or a 37 Ford. I think it's a 32, and it's bright pink. It's like tickled pink. It is gorgeous. And he's had it, and he took a little guff. sometimes, and he'd get a little ribbing about having a pink car, and he'd be like, well, it's for my mother, she passed from breast cancer. And then they'd be, oh, so yeah, I always think of that. But so, and breast cancer awareness month is coming up, so we'll have to do a lot of tickled pink projects. Yay. Okay, so we have our Let Us Celebrate. Now is yeah. Olaf, that's what I think of every time now. Is I see Olaf, but I see the snowman every time I see this ink. It just, I remember you guys saying that. Don't know how this is going to work. Haven't tried it, but I'm just going to, where I want it darker, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to put some of that in there. And it's actually, it's nice. It's basically just bringing down the lightness of the Let Us Celebrate a little bit. It's not a huge difference, which I really am loving, because I don't want a huge difference. I just wanted a little extra detail and a little bit extra on my leaves. I didn't want it super noticeable, so I'm super excited about using this combo together. I always love it when you randomly pick something and then it works out for you. You're like, haha, I have a new color combo. It's like you kind of want to go around all day like, I have a new color combo. Not that people would understand. You guys get it. You guys know. But, if I went to work bragging about the fact that I had a new color combo, people would be like, okay. Alrighty then. I think she's had too much coffee today. All right. So I think I like my leaves there. Now you can also, if you want to be wild, and I mean wild, okay, you can bring in a little bit of your toasted mauve. Okay, this is going to make it so that you have darker. So see the color, the places I've added it, you're getting that darker look to it. Okay, it's not really, and I know it's different on screen and in real life, but honestly, it's not showing, it's not reading as brown. It's just really making the olive, now I just want to say Olaf. It's making Olaf just a little bit darker. And then if you put too much of the brown on, okay, all you do is just come in and you're going to put the olive on there. Or if you really want to lighten it up some, they really came out, yeah. Oh yes, tickled pink. I think it's hard because I like others love the teals. The teals speak to me, but I really, really love that tickled pink as well. That color is phenomenal. So let's say you think you've put too much darkness. Just come back in, okay? It's going to cover it up. It'll still be darker, but you're going to lose that brownish tone to it. And instead, it's going to look really like you used evergreen, is what it looks like here. So if you go, whoa, Batman, a little too much, I went a little too wild, I should have reined it in with my toasted mauve a little bit, just come back in with your Let Us Celebrate. Okay. So see how dark it is, but it's green. It's dark green. It's not dark brown. It's dark green. You wouldn't really know that I'd use brown. You can see a little bit of it there. I'm okay with it. But if you use an excess, just come in with your lightest color and go over it. And then you're going to get that to go away some. Oh, and so I like to layer these leaves on here. So let's do our leaves as well. I like to add them for kind of dimension and pop them up and all around. As you can imagine, I do have my instant dimension foam tape out as well. Okay, so what you can do as well is you can start, okay, with some toasted mauve. Okay, if you want to take this step out of it, you could start with some toasted mauve where it's going to be darkest, okay, which is where I'm going to tuck them under the flower. All right, so I'm being very generous with my toasted mauve. I am tapping off, but I'm not hiding from the toasted mauve either. I'm letting the toasted mauve ride here. I have invited toasted mauve to the party. He's here. He's having a burger. He's having a great time. I know the depth, and that's the thing. You know, you think like it's scary to add brown. Like we avoid brown most of the time. But now I'm going to come in, okay, and I'm really going to add that green up over there. And it's going to build, and it's going to give me that beautiful color, okay? And I just keep coming in from the top down because I want it dark at that top, and I don't want it as dark there. So I'm just going to keep coming in that way. And that way, if I have too much ink on the top, that's okay. I want too much ink on the top because I'm trying to have that brown basically make my lettuce darker. And look at that. You would not know there's brown under there. You would have no idea there's brown hiding under there. So think of that too. If you have a limited color palette, you know, either due to finances, you're slowly building up your colors, or you're traveling, whatever it may be, if you have a limited color palette, you can still use unexpected colors together to get beautiful effects. Oh, I love this. This may be my favorite leaf so far. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so we're going to let that one be light there on the end. And again, coming in, because if I keep coming in from the top, it's going to blend out that green and brown together and create that combined color that I want. So brown I know is something many of us crafters fear. With good reason. I create it a lot when I really don't want to. But there are times when, you know, we can use a brown ink pad and it leads to really pretty results. You can also make some cute camo if you, you know, if you come from a hunting or fishing family. And, you know, start with your brown, layer your green on. I forgot to bring my green down. So this one will be super dark at the top. Okay. And again, if you want to throw, I almost said Olaf, if you want to throw Olaf in there, feel free to. Again, it's fun. Yes, or military. Military, it could be great. So the toasted mauve and the lettuce celebrate create a very cool, like you can still see a little brown inset in that little line, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It adds dimension and texture and lots of wonderful things. Okay, so now we're going to put all this together. But first, because I don't want to run completely out of time here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do our embossing folder so that we're all set. I'm going to put my blending tools back so they don't roll away, or the lovely Ms. Casey, we won't say the first name because she'll come help, won't come and play with them. Anything round is her favorite Ultimate supply of the moment. So she loves anything round. And hopefully my fingers are not so inky that I'm going to get it onto my panel. And I did not pick a sentiment today. I'll tell you guys that right in the beginning here. I did not pick a sentiment because we don't always need a sentiment. Like I was looking, I was thinking, what do I want on there? And this is always the toughest part for me is the sentiment. I love sentiments, but it's like, oh, what am I going to use this card for? What am I going to do? What do I want this for? Who is this card for? And then I get a little panicky. So I was like, you know what? We're not doing a sentiment today. We can calm down the anxiety. We're not doing a sentiment. No pressure. Just fun creating. All right. So there we have our beautiful masonry wall. And this is beautiful on the front and the back. Absolutely gorgeous. Both sides. So we'll set that to the side. Now, hopefully our flowers have dried enough. If not, I do have some liquid glue here just in case. Can't see what I'm doing. Okay. I'm off screen. Oh, I was just die cutting. My machine doesn't fit in well anyways. So now we're coming back to these. This is why I pushed them on the screen. We're coming back to this. So yeah, we have this. I ran this through the old die cut machine that was off my screen. And yeah, so the front is fun. The back is fun. Lots of choices. Okay, so then at this point, it's always nice if you have your layering guide near you if you want to. If you know how it goes together, if it's one of those that's super duper easy for you, that's awesome. You don't need it, that's okay. But if you need it, I highly recommend as well. You could even take just a card panel and put underneath. You want to be able to see that arrow and keyhole when you're putting your design together. That is critical on getting these lined up like the picture, is being able to see your arrow and keyhole. Okay, so I'm going to just put, oh, helps if I open my glue tape. It works so much better if, you open the little door. But I do love the little door because you don't get a bunch of debris in there. So I've just stuck my glue tape in the center, so kind of not on the sides because I don't want excess. Yep, I can zoom out. I was hoping you guys wanted to see up close to see how to layer it together, but if it's too close, we can back out. We can always do that. We can always go away. All right. I like to see up close and personal. When people are layering things together, I want to know how it's being layered together. I want to see how it is, all of that. So that's why I was so close, but I can absolutely zoom back out. Okay, and so this little piece, I think I called this the chicken leg when I did the video. The little chicken leg lays over this piece right here. Okay, so this one I can cover with my glue tape pen, because it's going to just lay over in here, my little chicken leg. Okay, just making sure it lines up perfectly with this little piece right here, okay? This next piece is going to come in down here. So these pieces, what do I like to do? You got it. You guys know. You guys know. And then these will be coming out soon. So keep an eye out for those. I'll flash those a little bit. All right, so this, okay, and if it's always good, what I like to recommend when you do these pieces that you want to add dimension to, take a minute and look and say, okay, there's a little lip hanging over there, so maybe I don't want my tape all the way up there. Okay, so I don't want it all the way up on the top. So I'm just going to trim. And this is, as you know, for me, very, very reserved with my foam tape. I'm going to just stick it in the center there, okay? And then push it down. I didn't push my foam tape down. And then pull that right off. I don't know why I made that noise. I went when I pulled that off. My mom does that when she pulls things off like that. It's funny how much you're like your parents. All right, so here is our first flower. And let me leave it on the white. It's probably better. Look how pretty that is. Because we played with this. Yes, Jamie, you are right on. Oh, yes. Yep, pre-orders start shipping soon. That's why I showed a little sneaker peeker. Okay, so, but look how, see, because we played with the color. And we didn't just layer it, the red, the orange. We had some where yellow, orange, red. Some were red, orange, yellow. Some are just yellow and orange. So it really plays up so that you can see the different petals and they all look different. So that is our first one, okay? And that one is the one that goes kind of up in the corner, okay? It doesn't have to. That's the great thing, and I always say this. This is inspiration. This is what you could do. You don't have to do that, but you could do that. You could as well, and when we get there, I'll mention this again. You could trim off all of this and have one cluster here and have one cluster over there. It doesn't have to be connected. Just because it was designed with that in mind doesn't mean when you get it into your space and you get an idea, you go. And you know what? Please share your ideas, because there is nothing we love more than seeing what you guys create, because you guys are amazing. Absolutely amazing, the ideas you guys come up with. I know I am always inspired, and my jaw is down a lot when I'm in the Alta fan group. So you guys are absolutely phenomenal. So please share your beautiful ideas and projects. So I've just layered 1 and 2 with my keyhole. Okay, I'm just putting a little adhesive off camera. So right here, I got a little adhesive on there. Okay, and I like my tweezers because I feel like I have more control. Okay, and you want to make sure. Now this one, is it as critical with this flower that it's very precise with your keyhole and arrow? Not really, not really. But you know, other ones it is. It's very important to be super precise with other ones. So as I say, it's always good to get in the habit of when you make these that you do it a certain way and you're very cautious of that keyhole and arrow opening, because that really sets the pace of your flower. Now, there are times I look and I'm like, okay, and this, start looking at edges. I always look at edges. If I get a little stuck, I'm like, okay, all right, I see that. I see the edge there. Yep, I see that. All right, so this flower, we're going to put the center up on some foam tape. So we're going to put this one down flat. Maybe we'll pop up the chili pepper. We'll see in just a second. It's nice to have options. A little spicy chili pepper. I should have done this one in May for Cinco de Mayo. I forgot about my chili pepper. But look how cute he is. Look how cute. Oh my God, the little chili pepper. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in our little chili pepper. And chili pepper comes right over here. Okay, so I think we might. Let's do a little foam tape. Why not? Why not? Let's do it. All right. He's a skinny fella, though. Well, he's kind of chunky in one area, but he's generally a skinny feller. So we'll put just a little piece right there. I'm going to squish it down so that I don't lift it up when I go to pull it. Okay. Then we're going to put our little chili pepper fella in. Okay, we'll get him right there. And I think this is great too, because it adds a little dimension to your flower as well. So just adding strategic pieces of foam tape can be great. Oh, look at that. Isn't that great when you have the perfect leftover piece? Isn't that exciting? I did too. Nancy, that was a game changer for me. Game changer. When these keyhole and arrow designs came out, I mean, I loved the Crafty flower, but when the keyhole design, now this just sits, there's a little shelf right here. This just kind of nuzzles right in that shelf. There's a little bump. Pick it up in case you're crafting along or watching along. There's a little bump right here that I aligned this little bump with, and there's a little shelf right there that the flower center sits on perfectly. So we have our second flower, and look, we didn't even plan it, or this was the one we did plan. I'm sorry, we did plan it. This one was the wild one that we went crazy and just did what our hearts felt on each petal. And then this one is the one that we did. So you can see the difference if you go a little wild, and mix and match, or if you kind of stay consistent in the red, orange, yellow. Now my red, as you can see, is blending into my orange. Up here, I was more heavy-handed, so it doesn't as much blend. I mean, it blends into it, but not, you can tell the two different colors. Here it's softer. So the red and orange seem kind of seamless almost into the yellow. And here you can tell there's 3 colors. You can tell the red, the orange, and the yellow. Here it's kind of little red, orange, and yellow. So whatever you feel works in your project is perfect. All right, so now we got those fellas put together. Now we're going to bring this over. So this is where I was talking about. If you wanted to, you could come in. As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and we're going to do it. Just seeing where I'm going to cut. So I'm going to cut here. Okay, the paper is going to scream, but it's okay. It's all right. I promise. It's okay. And then we're going to cut here on this one. Or let's see. I'm trying to, because of this leaf right here, I don't want to mess this kind of leaf up. So I'm going to just kind of curve that a little bit. Okay, there. So, and then we'll curve that. Or that's okay. I think we can have a pointed leaf. So now I have more options in my flower arrangement. Okay, now I can make this into 2 cards. So now instead of having that one, panel, I can come over and I can bring this one in here and have those leaves. And then I can bring this guy over here and I can have 2 cards. You may be saying, but yeah, you got that little hanging thing there. Not anymore. If I bring in and add some of these leaves with some foam tape, it's going to look like I planned on having it there. Oh no, I'm so sorry that you felt that. All right. So what we're going to do now, this one is going to grow. This one's going to grow out of a sentiment. Okay. So that's the plan for this. So I'm going to take my glue tape pen. Okay. And I'm going to put it on the back here. Woohoo! Sticking to me. It loves me. I'm electric. It loves me. All right. So let's see. Oh, I have this left over from the wonderful Secret Garden Retreat. So let's say we're going to use this sentiment. Okay. So any sentiment you have is perfect. But let's say I'm going to use this. Okay. So let's put that right there. So my flower can grow out of my sentiment. All right. And now we can go a little more wild with the foam tape. I'm going to cut it just in half. Okay. And now it doesn't matter if you cover up the arrows, anything like that. We're done. The arrows have been our secret weapon and helped us to put that into place. I did this. Oh, thank you so much. You guys are I wish I could do one of these every day with you. I just have so much fun, even though I wish I could see all your beautiful faces too. But I just love reading the chat, and it's a lot of times you guys, you keep coming back, and it feels like getting together for a cup of coffee with old friends, and it's just amazing. And I'm so blessed and honored to not only be a part of your crafty lives, but be able to share this time with you as well and kind of create whatever crazy thing is in my brain that day in that moment. So it's just, I'm so honored and humbled, and it's just an amazing privilege to be able to come craft with you guys. So I'm so grateful for all of you, and I love each and every one of you. I hope to meet you all someday. I know I'll get to meet some of you in Syracuse, which is very exciting. Okay, so see, you can grow your flower out of your sentiment, okay? And then I even already had this. I know I said no sentiment, but there is no sentiment on the masonry wall one, so this card was extra. I didn't expect that we were gonna do 2 cards, so hopefully this is straight, I'm hoping. So look there. So see, look how simple. No embossing folder, no nothing, just flat, plain paper, super clean and simple card. But look how bright and beautiful that just your color is coming through. All right, so I will bring him back and oh yes, I forgot. Remember guys, we were going to add a little leaf there so that nobody knew the paper had screamed except Nancy. Nancy will remember. I'm sorry, Nancy. I didn't mean to scare you on a crafty day. I apologize. I don't like to scare you guys by cutting paper. I try not to, except for the die cut machine, but I don't know if they're friends, if it hurts less. I don't know. I don't know if dies are more friendly, because we don't really hear the paper scream with the dies, do we? It's more so just the scissors that we feel like. Okay. So there, and then now too, look, you've got 2 points of dimension. If you wanted to, actually 3, because you've got your sentiment, you've got a triangle of things that have dimension, which I think is good as well. So a lot of interest created there on a very clean and simple card. This one will come over. And again, we are going to add some foam tape to the back. And again, we do not have to worry about the keyhole. My clients were so excited at work. We did the chestnut tree, and they could not believe the arrow. They thought that was fabulous. One girl said nobody would believe she made that card because it was so pretty. And I'm like, oh, but just give them my number. Like, I'll tell them. You did. You made that card. So it does. Those arrows and keyholes, they were life-changing for me as well. All right, so this one I'm going to put right smack dab in the center because I don't want my flower growing out of nowhere. And I'm not putting a sentiment on, and I may never put a sentiment on. Let me be honest. Let's speak the truth here. Let's go with it. So I'm going to just try to, and since I have my beautiful crafter's alignment mat, I might as well use the advantage. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the bud right in the center, or my stem right there. Okay, and then we'll pull this off. And then we have 3 leaves that we can add on if we want to. So I've got 3 there, but I think I'm going to cover up a few of them with my big, beautiful rose. So see, even though this set looks like you're going to create one arrangement, you don't have to. You can create so much more. Now, if you don't want to put that down so it looks like the shortest bud in the world, we can pop it right up here, okay? I don't want to see that space right there. That space is, see that little dot? It's to designate between 2 different leaves, but I don't want to see it. So I'm going to cover it up with my flower, okay? Oh, the chestnut tree? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. That's a tough one. Ooh, I don't know. I think the chestnut tree works for lots of occasions. You can do different colors. You can do, I mean, so do the Crafty flowers. That's a really tough. Wow, Angel, we didn't know we were getting tough questions today. I know. I want to say the tree. Maybe it's just because the tree's newer and I'm having a little, love affair with the tree because it's newer. But yeah, the tree is, I think I'd go for the tree. At this moment, it may change. Oh, good. An angel's the Crafty flower. Oh, good. That's wonderful. Oh my gosh. I know. And that's the tough question because Altanu has lots of Crafty flowers. So it's like, that's why I hesitated too, because I'm like, well, which Crafty flower? Is there a specific one that you're looking at? Because I don't know, And it honestly, it'll probably change day to day, if I'm being honest. So, but that tree, I do love that tree. All right, and I do love me some leaves. So yes, thank you to Tracy for getting me on the leaf train. And when I put in the word leaves at Altanu, this came up. So yeah, so can't do that. All right, it's not liking my foam tape because I only put 1 layer on my flower too. So my heart is, as Nancy did with the paper screams, my heart is breaking because I had to rip off some Instant Dimension foam tape. So I'm going to just use my glue tape pen. Okay, and I'm going to go up. Because I don't plan on doing a sentiment on here, I want to really have my arrangement. I guess the best way to say it, the simplest way to say it, is take up as much real estate as possible. So I want it to reach up so it looks like my card is nice and full. Okay, I don't think I can fit that in there. And so if I would have planned better with my tape, my leaves may have gone different places. But I think it's okay. And see, so you can get away with no sentiment card. Is the schedule posted? It should be posted. It should be on the front of the videos too. So yeah. And I mean, you could, if you're like, I cannot make a card without having a sentiment, silly girl. I need a sentiment. You could pop something up in the corner. Probably, I wouldn't do something this big and chunky unless you were going to set it over your flower. If you were going to do a big sentiment on here, I'd want it to involve my arrangement. So I'd want to kind of tuck it down so they were all together. I wouldn't want to have it up in the corner all by itself. Sorry, Nancy, sending out all the hugs for the paper screams today. But if you did a bigger sentiment, then, I would do that. I don't have any little sentiments right near me, or I would put one on to show you, but you could do a little one. You could tuck a little sentiment in here if you're like, I have to have a sentiment on my card. So here, and then I'm going to put these here, but then I just want to show you too. So here was our inspiration that we were given, that the designer had for us. And here's where we went. So that's the great thing. And that was what was really hard about that question is you can take these craft-a-flowers in so many different ways. And even if you have one or two craft-a-flower sets that you are in love with, if that's all you have, look at everything you can do. Look how you can stretch them, my loves. So that's the thing. Try different colors, try paper, add in some glitter, put in some glitter. So there are lots of things that you can do to really, really stretch. If you're on a budget and you really invest and think about your supplies, then definitely consider the Craft-a-Flower, because it's a wonderful subscription in your mailbox every month. You get a discount if you subscribe, which you got me a discount. And they're just amazing, and they're so versatile between all of the techniques that you can do with them as well. So you could even do some letterpress with these. So maybe that'll be something we'll do in a future day that we have together in a live. So I will do my best to try to remember to post these in the fan group. I try to usually post them afterwards in case you want to create them, but don't forget you do have the videos as well if you would like to come back and create those. And again, thank you to Tracy for inspiring. She inspired these cards today with her leaf question, so thank you so much. And thank you to all of you for being here and crafting along with me. I get to see you again, I think on the 15th, I think is the day, which I'll be back with Angel. Yay, back with Angel. So very exciting. And oh good, yes. And everybody, yes, there is a section on the website. If you go to subscriptions under Craft-a-Flower, you can see all the Craft-a-Flowers that we have there. So, and thank you to all of you for joining us, of course. From all of us at Alta New, we just want to thank you for allowing us to help you craft your life. If you are in the US, please have a safe and happy holiday with family and friends. And we will see you all very, very soon in another crafty adventure. Bye, everyone.